It's chakra time again. We are focusing on the fifth chakra, also called the throat chakra today. Let me just go to screen sharing one moment. Okay, so you can log in to this free introductory course through jesuits_institute.teachable.com. It is, again, free enrollment. So let's go into the fifth chakra. It's the fifth chakra if you are going off of the 7-chakra system. The Sanskrit name for the fifth chakra is Vishuddha. Vish means to enter an enclosure, and Hada is pure or purified. It translates into enter the purest place in yourself, one with your pure soul, or simply purity. The location is the throat area. Remember that other than the root and crown, the 7 main chakras have a front and a back. So the back channels of the throat, of the neck, are also connected to this center. The color vibration is blue. It helps to balance the throat chakra, and the throat chakra also has the qualities and characteristics of that blue vibration. The key job for this chakra is to express yourself freely. The element is ether, which is the material that fills the upper space beyond the clouds or heavenly bodies. In Greek mythology, ether was thought to be the pure essence that the gods breathe, and there we are going back to pure essence. And you'll actually see in certain mythology, folklore, and stories, the person's grace or their purity is stored in their throat, and that is because of the throat chakra. The identity is leadership, your leadership identity. It's who you are when taking the lead role. The fifth chakra mediates the emotional and mental struggles involved in learning to govern the power of choice and the subsequent actions based on your choices. So let's say you have a choice on the thoughts you think, the emotions you feel, and then there is the subsequent actions or behaviors you take based off of those mental and emotional choices. The neck dictates the direction and where your eyes will face and have focus on. Therefore, the throat chakra has much of the power involved in where you go, what you observe, and what actions you choose based on your observations. All illnesses have a connection to the fifth chakra because choice is involved in every detail of our lives and therefore in every illness. You cannot heal what you will not speak. Use the power of your communication center to speak your healing into being. The essence of the fifth chakra is purity, faith, and trust in yourself and the divine will. And again, the center stores your purity, which is also your grace, your center of grace. And how you go about your healing is unique for each and every individual. A symptom is normally something that is communicating a choice that is out of balance. And by recognizing that choice and remedying it, you can sometimes remove any of those symptoms that are unhealthy from your mind, body, and being. It processes information as fuel for the expansion of consciousness. Expansion of consciousness takes place as lower consciousness centers are purified and refined. So that basically means the root, sacral, and solar plexus, their consciousnesses are purified through the heart and the throat and put into the upper chakras, which are the brow and the crown. When balanced, you will be able to speak the truth over lies, honesty, have the power to have your authentic voice and express it fully and freely. The center encourages you to reopen communication with friends and loved ones who you may have had a falling out with. The throat chakra does like reconciliation, so it will always encourage you to extend the olive branch, to reach out to that person, to have a conversation so that there is healing. The spiritual goal is creative self-expression, to share wisdom and knowledge, as well as have wisdom and knowledge shared with you. Because it is the communication center, its goal is giving voice to the internal processing. Listening is just as important for this chakra as speaking is, because of the ear chakras, which are closely connected to the throat. So that means what you've heard externally and even said internally about yourself, life, or other people, it is then stored in the throat chakra. Judgments you've had against other people is stored in the throat chakra. You might think it's all about them, the person that you're judging, but actually the vibration of judgment is stored in your throat and just blocks your pure essence. So what you've heard can either be beneficial or unbeneficial, and if it's beneficial, keep it. If it's unbeneficial and not helpful, you just simply intend to send it back to the sender, which is the person who originally said or demonstrated whatever you're storing in your throat. You send it back to them with consciousness attached. You breathe, and you let that be. And that way you're uninhibited, you're unencumbered by other people's beliefs, other people's thoughts, other people's words. And I do know quite a few people who have tics and a level of Tourette's where they're just saying things over and over again, and they ask themselves, well, why am I saying that? Why is that stuck in my throat? And it's normally because the throat has been hijacked by somebody else's authentic expression, somebody else's beliefs, someone else's emotional verbiage. Okay, so remember to send it back to the sender with consciousness attached, just with your intention and attention. There's also something called a Freudian slip, and that's when you say something that you didn't really mean to say, but it normally is something that needed to be said. So honor what comes out of your mouth that wasn't your intention, and do a little bit of discernment, or a lot of bit of discernment, to figure out why that came out of your mouth. Is it somebody else's information that's just being stored, or is it something that is suppressed, something that's on a subconscious level that you need to be aware of? When it comes to manifesting, understanding the power of your words and how they shape and mold our reality is paramount. Are you repeating figures of speech that co-create things you don't want? If so, be mindful of your vocabulary and take out words that manifest the opposite of your true desires. There is a time and place to just say the truth and how you feel and think. The idea is to not stagnate in those states. So basically, a lot of people have told me throughout the work I've done that they don't want to say that, they don't want to feel that, they don't want to see that because they're afraid that they'll manifest it. But again, there is a time and place for everything. So true expression of the throat allows you to say everything without censorship, without even feeling guilty about the words you're using. When you fully express it, you get to heal. You get it out of your mind, body, and being. But if you say, no, that's wrong, you have judgments about your expression, you just stifle it, repress it, and it just stagnates in your throat. So remember to get it out. You can then cancel it, delete it, uncreate it after, and then speak words of what you do want to have in your life and who you truly be. So written words are just as important as spoken words. Use your discretion on what you read on the internet and in books. There's so much on Facebook now and the internet that is just sludge, and it goes into your heart and your throat. So make sure that you are refraining from things that you're not able to digest and process in the moment, and kind of space it out or avoid it completely for the rest of your life. I know it's a little bit tricky to avoid everything, so really focus on empowerment rather than avoidance. Still honor where you are on your journey. So a lot of people think, well, I should be able to handle this, I want to be able to handle it, but the truth is they're not equipped to handle it in the moment. And if that is you, then just avoid it until you can actually handle it. There's no shame in admitting the truth that you're not able to handle it in the moment. So if you're struggling with forgiving yourself and others, tap into your center of grace, which is the energy of giving yourself a pass and not judging or punishing yourself for your mistakes. When it comes to you, you should always, always, always forgive yourself. When it comes to other people, people get a little bit confused sometimes. You're not saying it was okay, and sometimes you're not even giving the person a pass. You are simply letting them know what it was, how it affected you, and having compassion for yourself in the situation. And sometimes that requires protecting yourself against the other person. However, grace takes away the need for vengeance, for vindictiveness, for avenging something and punishing someone and making them wrong for something that you felt was wrong that was done to you. So use grace when you feel like you can't forgive, and it will help you to get to that place of forgiveness. Here is your self-assessment. When your chakra is underactive, you might experience states of being apathetic, unorganized, lack of faith, distrusting, dogmatic, liar, reacting slowly, intellectually scattered, lacking control, indecisive, cold, impatient, inability to express emotions and thoughts, blocking feelings, creative stagnation, also called writer's block or artist block, irresponsible with words, written or spoken. There's a lot of hate speech out there, and that's definitely a throat chakra issue. Hung up on details, snobbish, stuck in a rut, and self-loathing. And when it comes to the hate speech, I find that most of the people that are doing that somewhere on a latent level, a subconscious level, they feel wrong or they feel not good enough. So they then have to make other people wrong. The same thing goes for the overactive chakra when someone feels superior. Okay, so overactivity can be indicated through overly ambitious, critical, makes others wrong, calculated, repetitive, sarcastic, domineering, feels superior, mentally cruel, insensitive, dogmatic again, patronizing, stubborn, frantic, arrogant, OCD, and that's obsessive control disorder. Am I saying that correctly? Excessive compulsion disorder is actually the right word for that. And it's a big thing for the throat chakra because the throat chakra loves control and it can make you controlling towards yourself or controlling towards other people. And when it's like that, it just doesn't let you express yourself freely or enjoy other people expressing themselves freely. It robs you of the magic of life. So again, that's obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD. Perfectionism, power seeking, and again, the superiority complex. When someone feels wrong or not good enough or not enough, they then have to make other people feel smaller or look smaller so that they feel better about themselves. The spiritual goal, when it is balanced and operating optimally and efficiently, self-healing, expansion, grace, self-satisfied, broad-minded, faithful, loyal, tactful, affectionate, imaginative, inspirational, natural leader, verbally skilled, financially responsible, which is a big one for this center. The root definitely has to do with making sure you have the necessities of life and attracting abundance. Sacral has to do with receiving it, accepting it. The solar plexus have to do with the motivation, the willpower, the determination to go out and do the things to bring in prosperity. The heart has to do with fulfillment of that prosperity. And the throat has to do with management of your finances. So if you're finding that you're not financially stable, if you have the broke mentality, focus on developing the throat chakra and that will help to heal it. Stability, patience, appreciative of art, authoritative, in a balanced way. Content, idealistic, wit, innovative or innovative. Resilient, calmness, tactful, holistic. Those are all the things that come into play when the throat chakra is balanced, and of course there are more. Let's move into the language of the throat chakra, which is pretty obvious. Remember that every chakra has a language it communicates best with and understands best. If you haven't noticed improvements with a chakra, it may be because you're communicating with it in a language it does not understand. Positive affirmations, hearing them and saying them are the best for the throat chakra. You can use the throat chakra and the affirmations to assist all other chakras in balancing. Remember that sometimes additional things need to be done for those chakras, but positive affirmations do actually work for all of the chakras. They just might not work best. So you can say an affirmation for the root with a body stance or an activity to really make sure it is received, programmed, and helps to develop the root. You can sing a affirmation instead of stating it. You can also hum or whistle a song or tune you enjoy. You can also chant an affirmation, which is kind of like a sing-song way of speaking the words. Tribal yelling helps to express things that need to be expressed, especially the harsher emotions. Journaling, vlogging, and blogging are all beneficial for the throat. Gargling with salt water or sipping on honey and lemon tea help to soothe the throat. Additionally, Tibetan and crystal singing bowls balance the ear chakras, and therefore they balance the throat chakras. Many of you know that I've had issues with my throat because when I was 4, I had a cyst on my throat and I had to have surgery to have it removed. And that's probably one of the most prominent memories I have from my childhood. And my throat chakra has definitely been traumatized from that experience, and I've re-traumatized it throughout the years. And so I've done a lot of work on my throat chakra, and I just noticed that the crystal singing bowls really help them. People wear jewelry around their necks and their ears mainly, and so pay attention to the materials in them, as well as the crystals and the gemstones that are on them, because those can help to balance the throat. Words are alive. Okay, they are vibration, they are frequencies, and they carry energy essences. Therefore, when you speak them, you are literally invoking energy, which means you are birthing and creating through words. Our language we use to communicate our reality with ourselves and one another is limited, and it is expanding. New words and definitions are being created yearly to help us evolve our consciousness. So use words that evolve you and remove words from your vocabulary that keep you stuck in places you don't want to be, and reinforce ideas about yourself that are outdated. Okay, so those are the main languages and ways to communicate with the throat chakra. Affirmations. So you would add on to the affirmations depending on the chakra you're working with. Ideally, that affirmation should start with the suggestions. So for the root, it can be like, I need support. I have prosperity and abundance in my life now. The sacral, I desire love. I feel love. I accept love. Where I desire to be happy. I accept myself. I accept happiness. The third chakra, I do. I want to get a new job. I do now take the steps towards getting a new job. The fourth, I share, I love. I share with those I love. I love what I do, and I do what I love. The fifth, I express myself freely and fully. I speak my truth regardless of the reactions and opinions of those around me. 6, I see clearly, or I see. I recognize and am aware of the truth. 7th, I am, and actually just I am is a great affirmation for the 7th chakra, and I know. It can be I know wisely. Chakras have a vibration, a sound that helps to harmonize and balance it, and you can repeat it over and over again like a mantra or like a chant. You would inhale fully and release with the sound vibration. I will demonstrate very quickly for the root chakra sound of Lam. Inhale, La. And notice if your voice cracks, if it goes up and down, it doesn't keep the pitch. Notice if you run out of breath. Just notice if there's difficulty with saying the vibration, and have your attention, your mental focus on the root as you say the vibration. And if there is an imbalance, say it again and again and again until it is the harmonized sound. And I definitely feel like I need to do the root sound more today. The sacral is Vam, solar plexus Ram, heart Sam, throat Han, sixth Kasham, seventh Om. Okay? We'll move into the products. Remember, you do not have to use products, but they are really great to have. Physical tools honor the law of amplification, which amplify anything that you're doing internally. Dead sea salts, the blue color bath envelope, and the satellite gemstone with the essential oil of geranium and peppermint are great to use. The envelope is basically a one-time use. However, I have broken it up into two usages if I'm doing it for a foot bath. The bottle lasts me for months. So if you have noticed an issue with any chakra that you haven't really been able to heal, that means it needs additional help, additional work. So you might want to have the bottle for doing it, having a bath, having a foot soak weekly and monthly. Blue beeswax candles are really good for purifying because the fire element helps to purify. So you can light it with intention to purify the unkind, unloving things people have said to you in the past that you may have even said to yourself, purifying the self-critic. And if there's a loving word, an affirmation, a mantra that you're aware of that you would like to reinforce, light it with intention when you're saying that word. And the energy essence of that word or statement will be held by that candle for as long as it's burning. And then again, the peppermint and geranium. I recommend peppermint for anybody because it's just a really universally loved essential oil. Geranium, however, is really good for all women, and it really helps men balance their sacred feminine aspects. And geranium actually trickles into the heart chakra. It really helps to balance both of them. Okay, so I ship to the US and Canada. If you're interested in buying any of the products, just email me. That concludes the video on the throat chakra for today. Remember that you can log in and ask questions and comment, and I will reply within 48 hours to your comment. Many blessings to all of you. Keep being vital, all you vital signs, and shine on.